Hello everyone, this is recording number 12 for my Intro to Philosophy and AI. Today's topic is fictionalism, a theory according to which users who talk with LLMs talk with fictional personas. Now, this is an emerging debate, a rich and complex debate. It involves some theoretical issues about just what AI is. But it also involves practical and pressing questions about the psychological effects of extended conversations with LLMs in situations where users may seek help or companionship and so on. So there's a lot involved here. My topic today is as if we're merely taking a first step here by returning to an early achievement. In 1966, Joseph Weizenbaum built a computer program that he called Eliza. Eliza made natural language exchanges possible. It was modeled after a humanistic version of psychotherapy. So imagine a user who inserts a sentence that contains the word father, and father was one of the key words. Then Eliza would respond, what else comes to mind when you think of your father? So compared to AI today, Eliza was extraordinarily simple. And nevertheless, users reported that they felt understood. And even team members from Weizenbaum's own lab would say things like, Eliza understands me. So this is called the Eliza Effect. And it's considered really striking that you have, on the one hand, a kind of seemingly firm knowledge that something is not a person. And yet you have ascriptions of kind of person-like mental states, such as understanding. How does that fit together? This so-called Eliza effect has attracted a lot of discussion, different analyses, and you might think that the first thing you need to do in order to get clear about it is to have a straightforward description. What exactly is going on here? You might think you need a kind of maybe even simplifying description for the sake of clarity. And that simplifying description might be that someone takes something not to be a person, and yet they take it to be a person. So once you have that kind of stock simplifying description, what you bring out is that there might be contradictory attitudes. It might be that users of LLMs hold contradictory attitudes in thinking this is not a person and this is a person. And then you might think, well, is that really what I want to say? And this is where fictionalism enters the picture. Fictionalism says, no, people do not hold contradictory attitudes. And what you kind of got wrong in this stock description is the second component. You said people hold that this is a person. But really, people do not hold that. People instead take a so-called as-if stance, a stance where they treat the Eliza program at the time, or nowadays an LLM, as if it was a person. They, in other words, talk with a fictional person. They enter, as it were, a fictional world when they enter a conversation with the LLM, and then when they end that conversation, they exit that fictional world. And there's nothing puzzling or contradictory here. They think this is not a person, and then they also take it to be a fictional person, and that's just fine. So this is as much as I want to say today about fictionalism. There are versions of fictionalism, and I will say more about this in future recordings. For now, I just want to flag that I think there's something that fictionalism gets right, and that is that there is a need to get right what the phenomenon even is. What is the Eliza effect? What is it that is so puzzling about this? And who is my interlocutor when I talk with an LLM? That is a good question to ask, I think. At the same time, I'm going to part ways with fictionalism as it were pinpointing what exactly it is that we got wrong in our schematic account of the effect.